Hello, everyone. My name is Mirna, and on behalf of the Mindalia TV team, we want to welcome you to Mindalia live streaming, where thousands of people around the world gather to see the lectures and interviews organized by Mindalia TV. Today with us, Angel Rebo, CEO, consultant, TV host, international public speaker, and president of the Wisdom for Kids Foundation, is going to be interviewing Jose and Melina Esparza. They run a community center in Seattle where they teach free yoga and meditation. They also offer couple counseling and host a radio show. Before starting with them, we want to remind you that Mindalia is a nonprofit organization. Our mission is to share information that can help raise the level of consciousness around the world, and you can help us. How? Subscribing to our channel, leaving us a positive comment down below, or sharing this video with someone that you know that's going to benefit from the content that we're sharing here today. Also, while we are live streaming like we are right now, we have the active chat. Excellent tool for you to interact with us. You can enter your questions. We just ask you to please use the format, the word question in caps, the actual question that you have. And at the end of the interview, they're going to be kindly answering. Last but not least, Mindalia TV broadcast daily on weekdays through Mindalia Televisão in Portuguese, Mindalia TV English, as you know already, and Mindalia Televisión in Spanish. So if you want to share your valuable content, you can go to our website, and on the top of the page, you are going to be finding a link that you're going to click, and you can find a form that you are going to be filling out, and our technical team will be contacting you for your interview or conference. You can also visit us there so you can find out what is the content that we're developing there. Without further delay, I am going to be leaving you with Angel, with Jose and Melina. Guys, welcome to Mindalia live streaming. The screen is yours.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mirna. And what a big pleasure to have Jose and Melina with us today. Welcome. Welcome to Mindalia TV.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Have a good morning.
Thank you. So, what an amazing thing that you do. I mean, you help so many people in the. You are located in the Seattle area. Is that correct?
In Seattle, Washington.
Yes.
Excellent. So, could you tell us a little bit more of what you do and why do you like so much to help so many people?
Okay, this is start like Jose started like 20 years ago. Giving conference and talks to especially to the Hispanic and Latin community. It's all in Spanish. And then, then they start to have more families. And then we start to teach this conference at schools, at libraries, wherever they give us the chance. But that was, Angel, like 7 years ago. Like this center starts to bloom. They give us an interview in a TV. Univision, is very popular about it. So we start to teach a seminar about anger management, and then we have a full house. And either then it was like we believe everything has the right time, and then everybody start to ask for more classes, more conference, because living here in the United States, our people, our Latin people, we live in a lot of stress. We live in a lot of problems because either the legal status, the immigration, or all the culture shock that they have when we start a life here. So it's hard to adapt and have a family. So in the meantime, either if you get your status or you get your residence or you get your citizen, you need to have a happy life. So we're thinking we need to enjoy life. This is our home now, and we have to have a happy life. And how we have it is start to build yourself a nice family by working on yourself. So that's the meaning, and that's kind of the story, right?
That's one of the purposes, yes. And people here, they come to, of course, to achieve money to help their families in different countries. But then at the same time, when they come to a lot of stress because they're lonely, this is not their country, this is not their culture. A lot of the families are on the other side, so they need to know how to handle that emotions. So through time, we catch different ideas from different authors, different initiatives, and we learn a system of how to help people, to teach them how to be more control of themselves. So that's we start teaching that to different seminars, and we added a meditation, and my wife added a yoga. So it just is a complement. So people start really feeling the difference when they start practicing, because what we teach is very practical. So then they say, you guys should be teaching this everywhere, you know? So that's exactly what we're doing. And right now we have a center where people can attend for different classes, because we give seminars about how the mind works. And one of the seminars that we really see that people catches or understands right away is the five cylinders of the human machine. And we teach that is a very practical thing.
Oh, that sounds beautiful. You were able to come up with a term, with a system that everybody can relate to. I think that people like to relate to specific things, so they are easier to learn. What would you say is the number one reason why people contact you or people go and see you? What would you say it's the most common reason?
The most common reason is what I just mentioned, because especially this in this side of this of the country, during winter time is very cold. People they stay in their homes most of the time, watching TV, or you know just don't have too much actions, too much activities. So depression starts hitting them in a big way, that people start drinking, or people start uh,
Depression.
all kinds of violence. Like when you have a little animal in a cage, if you don't take him out, he's gonna destroy himself. So basically, people come to us when they have different kind of problems or issues, and a lot of times they don't ask the government for help, because then they're gonna do their legal status in the state. So that's why people come to us, because we don't work with the state. This is a voluntary program that we have, and they get all the benefit, and they're not afraid to come to us. But most of it is like domestic violence, alcoholic problems, or drug issues, or parents have problems with their kids as well. So we just guide them through different kind of orientation and practices.
So we're talking about many different issues here. So how are you able to help people with so many different things?
We do family support, and through the topics, the thing that I like about the system, or the help they can get here is like they don't have to talk personal about them life. They hear the conference, they hear the classes, and all the time, Angel, they told us, "Who told you my life?" Because we all the same, we all have the same kind of problems, we all deal with depression, with loneliness, with homesick, with trouble with our kids, because as a moms, as a parents, we deal with our culture, with the customs from Mexico, from wherever you country you're from, and then they want to live their life like in the United States. So it's always a conflict. So as a parents, they always feel like they're not doing the good job, and we're having on the area a lot of trouble with the teenagers getting to troubles, to drinking problems. So don't listen their parents, or sometimes, as Jose says, they trust this place, or they trust the meditation, because this is something new. People who came here, they don't have access to these kind of classes even in our own countries, because this is kind of expensive, or we don't have the open mind to do it because religious and that. But when they get here and they find out that we're not gonna charge money, that we're gonna get fight or try to convert them to another certain religion, they just feel relaxed, and they just say, oh wow, that's another families with my same kind of problems, that's another mom that feels like me, and then feel good, they'll feel released. So they have tools to feel more able to deal with that stuff on the house.
And then you ask, where do we start? Like how we convince people to start doing changes in their lives. I have here 5 bottles of this that relates to vital energies. These vital energies are charged in our five centers of a human machine. One of them is the intellect or the mind. The other one is the movement center, the instinctive center, the emotional center, and the sexual center. So those are five basics accounts of energy that Mother Nature deposit in us in our lives on the daily life. Now through working or having different habits of life, we're using the different cylinders of the human machine. For instance, to use the intellect, like if we're constantly thinking and thinking and thinking, there's gonna be a moment that the energy of the intellect is gonna be drained. So when it gets drained, you get tired, you don't think anymore. Then, if we use too much sports to the extremes, this is a movement center. There's gonna be time that you're gonna get tired because you're gonna drain, you're gonna empty all your energies from the vital energies of your human machine. Then you're gonna be tired. And then comes the emotional center. And through the emotional center, we constantly using emotions in a very toxic way. For instance, violence, being in fear, all kinds of uh, complications, so and so on and so on and so on. Now, the main thing to keep a reserve of these energies is to learn how to use it in a proper and in a conscious way. If we only think that life is only in a physical form, then you're gonna drain all your energies because you don't have a purpose to save them or to achieve these energies. So we tell people you're gonna be strong, you're gonna be healthy, you're gonna achieve anything you want in life as long as you know how to manage these vital energies. But then we have a problem. The mind. The mind creates all kinds of confusion and problems in our lives. The mind of a child, for instance, is a clear mind. It has a perception of life and things in a different, innocent, and natural way. But as we grow up with a different system of life that we live in this culture that we have in the modern cities, we see TV that are very toxic. We see programs, books. We see the bad the wrong proper way of people behaving in their lives. So our mind, from being innocent and having clear perception, it becomes dirty. This is water with mud. As a mind starts being uh, shaken or active by wrong information, it starts being polluted. We start having negative thoughts, too much worries, and then the mind becomes very dirty. Not only that, the five cylinders of the human machine, they starts getting dirty as well. So that's when our lives start being turned into from pure life into a toxic life. So when we explain this to people, they look at us and they say, "Oh, that makes sense." Because when I get mad, I don't think right. When I have different negative thoughts, I do crazy stuff that I don't know why I do that stuff. So then comes the psychological eye. What is a psychological eye? Well, is for instance, we can say that all these different thoughts that we have in our mind is called the different eyes. Every different eyes has different kind of thoughts, different ideas, different beliefs, different ways of creating all kinds of complications to people. If we only teach about the five centers of the human machine and the way our mind gets dirty, we have to then find out that beyond the mind and beyond our senses, we have within ourselves the psychological eye, our defects. Then we have to observe how our defects or our psychological eye works within ourselves in order for us to learn how to control it and to transform it, which is possible.
That's fascinating. What is when you start explaining? I love the cylinders idea because I love cars as well. So that's I think that everybody likes and understands a little bit how a car works. So when you start explaining that, do you explain that to entire families? So it can be literally like mom, dad, and the kids all together?
Of
Yes.
course. For instance, like if I want to have a happy family, a healthy family, I had to be the sample of it. My kids are going to see the way I behave through life when I have a problem, when I talk to people, when if I have drinking problems or emotional problems, they're going to learn that from me. I'm going to pass this to my generations. But if they see a parent who knows how to handle life, who knows how to have control of themselves, who knows how to observe himself, that he can open his consciousness. The word here is consciousness because there's levels of consciousness. There's the first level of consciousness is very sleepy consciousness. Second level is a way of perceiving things, like getting to know what's going on, and so on. There's levels. I put this sample of people living underground and people living on the surface. People who live underground, they only see underground things. They don't have perception of what's going up there. Consciousness is like this. When people have all this kind of behavior in their life, they're in the subconscious. They're not perceiving what the real thing is. So we have to teach them how to work or how to put the consciousness to work. And there's levels and levels and levels that doesn't have any end. And then after that, when the conscience is at least 3% active, you'll be able to say what I was doing with my life. This is not right. But before that, you don't see anything.
It makes us so happy that in our meditation class, we always see more and more teenagers. So we encourage moms or parents to bring their kids because as much as they learn, they meditate and how to clear the mind and how to relax and how to forget about all the stress and pressure they have in our lives now with the social media, with the school, with the bullying, with the racist stuff. They love it. They love it, and we always explain this is something that you're gonna see recommend them for doctors, for scientifics, for psychologists, and it get a surprise year by year. It's been like 2 years ago than we start to having people to say, I got to your class because I was in my doctor's appointment and my doctor recommended me to look for meditation or yoga classes. This is huge for us as a Latin community because we knew in Spain, in America, in Americans are so gay into the Buddhism, to the meditate, to the yoga stuff. But for our Latin community, it's something that is being a lot of work to explain to them this is not gonna be bad for you. This is not brujeria, because sometimes
Witchcraft.
sometimes we have all kind of stuff, and so they go and ask, and they say, no, that's not good for you. That's bad,
Some
are
people,
thinking no. So we haven't explained that no, this is good for everybody because when you relax, when you know how to handle with problems because you start to build some inner peace, then it will be nice for your family. So it's great. It's been great.
So you have like one-on-one sessions with families. I guess you also have one-on-one sessions with. Oh no, everything is like in group.
is open. We
Okay.
offer the seminars. People come, they listen to us, and then some people stay, some people leave, some people ask questions, some people don't say anything. And we have families that they've been with us for over 3 years.
Wow.
So we are like friend. We create some kind of friendship, and then we hear about their problems. But at the same time, we also share the information in a practical way of what to do. For instance, when you have a problem with your wife, like my wife say something to me, make me feel bad, and then I got mad, then I fight back, or I didn't say anything. I say, well, you have to learn how to communicate that, learn how to express that to your wife, so she can, using the tools that we teach here, she can know next time how to handle a situation or how to talk to you.
And another thing that helps the community, it's we teach how to work for everybody else, to be volunteer, to do something else for your life. Forget about a little bit about your problems and think about someone else who can you help.
More
We
problems.
can help everybody, so they learn how to be a volunteer in a programs like we mentioned. We do. utility supplies for kids in Mexico, or we try to help in a different ways to the community, and they find, oh my God, I'm feeling good because even if I have a big problems at home with my family, with my husband, with blah blah blah, as soon as I help somebody else, I feel great. My level of consciousness grows in a little bit. So we do that as a family support. But when it's like a big problem, we work only as a family support, as a volunteers. We have to um, connect them with the correct institution here in the United States, because we cannot get into trouble to recommend something else, something specific, because that's another organizations for that. So we work as a family support only.
What's the name that you give to your sessions? I mean, when someone sees like an announcement from you, what's the name that you give to those?
Well, right now we're giving the seminar of the influence of the planets in a psychological way.
And then we have a meditation class, and then we have the yoga class. So we teach, for example, for Valentine's Day, that's very popular. We have a 7-week seminar for how to have a good relationship with your couple, or the English management seminars, or the emotional thinking, inteligencia emocional.
Yeah, intelligence, emotional
Mhm.
intelligence.
Emotional intelligence. So you
Yes,
have different kinds of workshops, let's say.
Yes,
yes,
all year.
So and
All
all
year.
of them, it's you who gives all of them,
Yes,
all of those workshops. You deliver those.
yes, all year.
Wow! Oh my
this is
God!
our
Uh,
this is our baby.
not only that, we get invited from school districts or other communities, and we get invited to giving seminars.
Or the radio, Spanish radio stations. So we have a program there to talk about, because Angel, our community needs to listen to these kind of topics. We
But
all need.
people always have in their minds, what? Why are we? Are you? Why are you doing this? How come you don't make money with that? And my answer to this is because I was a problem kid. I grew up in Los Angeles, California, in gangs. I used to have problems with alcohol. I used to have all kinds of violence problems around my life. And I started attending to these seminars for years. And then when I asked my instructor, how can I pay you all the time you spend with me in order for me to change my life? He says, do it for the other people. And he never charged me any money. So people, it took people a little time to learn that when we teach this, we do it just because we love people. We try to help them with their suffering. Um, and what we teach is very practical. At the moment that they start practicing, they feel the difference. So then they start trusting us, and they start trusting what we do. And that's what happened in the community. People have very good respect for what we do. And that's that reason they invite us to their different activities, because they know that the only interest we have in them is in order for them to be more conscious about their lives. We don't care what they believe. We don't care if they have money. We don't care what race they are. The tool is like a tool for an electrician. The electrician can be anything, but the tools are always there for them to use them whenever they need it. And that's basically the reason why we do it.
So
It
you
make,
have, excuse me, go ahead.
I'm sorry, it make us happy.
For
Very
sure.
Simple as that.
So you have people of all ages. You have kids. Then you have kids that attend your workshops.
We tell people that a kid at the age of 10 and up, he'll be able to understand things. Under that age, we have a special room for them to play, because we don't if kid doesn't have any problem, we don't want to get him involved into intellectual adult
Topics,
topics, because it's boring for them. So they have their
activities.
activities.
So when you mentioned that you use meditation, what made you decide that meditation was going to be important to serve your community?
You want to answer that?
Because we've been practices for a long time and we find out that help us a lot. I will say that without meditation, I can go through with many problems in life like everybody has, so we need to share that with our community. And we know they don't have access to these kind of programs or classes in the all kind of organization that we have in the United States. I think it's living here is a great opportunity because you have free medical if you go to some here in Washington. I don't have idea in another states, but here you have either if you have legal status or not, you have any kind of organizations for everything. They help you
Mm.
a lot, and that's great. But we know they don't have in Spanish meditation or yoga. I was the first to start the yoga classes 5 years here with a Simmer community clinics because we don't have that kind of access. So that's why people love it because either it's about the religion or anything, they find that tool very helpful for their lives. So that's why.
And well, people at the beginning, they kind of, it's new for them.
Mhm.
They kind of resist or they reject the idea, but then after 2 or 3 classes, when they learn that their mind can be controlled and they can have the inner peace within, then they say, "Oh, this is great. I like it. I like to have the freedom of this constantly thinking."
Mhm.
So if we don't teach that, if we don't practice that, everything is gonna be just in the intellect. We need these energies of the vital energies also to be used for spiritual growth, not only to be on the surface, but to take it within ourselves in order for us to connect to something superior. And if we don't teach that to people, then every the idea is going to be in one level or maybe in a second level. But when we say the energy that you're going to save to learning how to transform the toxic information of life is going to connect you to something else. And the first thing that we have to perceive is the consciousness, because most of the time we are influenced by the different kind of minds, and the mind doesn't create any happiness to any of us. The mind to us is like a jail, to be in some kind of jail form. In the jail form, you can have a digital games, television, beer, whatever you want. But if you don't have the idea of that life has another purpose, then you live the life in a very artificial way. We need to connect. We have a soul inside of ourselves. We have a spirit inside of ourselves, and we need to, in a way, learn how to connect to that. And through meditation, we can get the conscience to be active in not right away, but through different discipline, or learning how to have a new way of life. Then there's going to be a time that consciousness is going to take over your life, and the consciousness is the one that is going to guide you to see what's right and what's wrong, and not only that, to experience life in another way, in another form.
You've been for a long time doing this. My question is, have you seen any change in the people? Have you seen any change in the questions, in what they need throughout time, in all those years that you have been doing this?
Yes, not only that, there's times that people, like after a year or 2 years that they're being with us. There was a guy one time, he says, "I want to talk to you. I want to tell you something that I haven't tell anybody. Before I come to your classes, I was going to get married. But then I found out that my girlfriend was cheating on me, and I was planning how to kill her." And I said, "What? What are you saying?" He said, "Yeah, that's what I was thinking." "And what makes you change your mind?" He says, "I saw your ad on a newspaper, because we used to advertise on a newspaper. And the ad says, if you have any problems that you don't know how to handle, call us or assist to our programs." So that's when he came. And then he says, through the years, after I learned all these different tools, I'm afraid that I was thinking that way. I'm scared about the ego I was creating within me. But no longer, I'm not afraid of that anymore because I learned how to transform that ego. The guy right now he's married to happily married to another girl, and they both practice these tools, this way of knowledge, and he's all pleased. He's all happy.
Let me tell you about another story who always touched me, because this was a lady, and she started to attend the meditate class, the workshops, and everybody. We always saw her like a shy, and we never ask questions about their personal life if they don't want to talk about it. That's the way they like, because they feel free to listen but not to talk about their lives. But then we build that trust, so sometimes they end telling us about their lives, no? So she told us that she was beat by her husband for a long time. So she was kind of shy, but she doesn't, and this is the point. She doesn't want to go to the correct organizations, because she knew that the time that she put the announced report to the police, they're gonna report him all back to Mexico. So she will be without a husband, and she say, "I cannot do this to my kids." But we say, you need to change yourself. You need to be strong. You need to be. We never recommend leave the guy. We cannot give those kind of
we don't separate families.
Decisions. That's very personal. But say, start to work on yourself. Just she still continued the classes, the meditating, the workshops, and then after the years, you see her so different. She built that trust on her. She was that confidence. And the another day, she was giving a speech to the new people to talk about the benefits that she has on the workshops and on the meditations. We asked some people who have the time to do that, and we saw totally different kind of woman. Of course, the husband he doesn't beat her anymore, because he doesn't find that woman anymore, because she changed herself. She started to build that trust on herself. She started to work on herself, on the mind, on the say, I'm not this kind of woman anymore. They're still together. That's her decision. And you see, she's different woman. She also volunteers in another places. She brings her little one, and it makes us feel so happy that we see this is not us. This is her. This is her job, and this is her work. So you see different kind of changes on people, and that make us very happy. And that's the kind of samples that it make us going to do this for free.
Do you guys have like an organization? Does it have a name?
Es Centro Comunitario de Autoayuda.
Okay, perfect. So how can people find you? How can people find where you are? How to contact you?
Oh, of course, we have a Facebook page, and we do a lot of advertisements through that, because we don't have the budget to do that in a big way. But because back in the years, we build a trust on the organizations, so they recommend us. So organizations who has the project, who has the grants, who have the budget, they say, they got the people say, oh, these guys do this, you make over there. Or because we had a program on the radio with the sponsors, a lot of people find us about. We had a program for a year and a half, and sometimes they invite us to have a little 15 minutes. That's very expensive. So they invite us to have like a 15 minutes talk, and they say, hey, this is our phone number. And the best way is people from people, voice to voice. They start to do,
the best way is to go through Facebook and type Centro Comunitario de Autoayuda. We're thinking about, since we're going to open in English now, because of you, we're going to have these workshops in English as well. So we're going to create another page in order for the English community to communicate with us, and in order for us to teach them these benefits of these tools that we teach the community as well. I think nobody's doing that in English here, so it's going to be a great opportunity, and we are glad with your television, Mindalia television, because we are you are giving us the opportunity to get to other people as well, because you are very, very popular. It's a beautiful channel, and I believe once people see this program, we're gonna be very, very busy.
Mhm.
Absolutely. We are glad to help you, and we are glad to serve you. Absolutely, you and everybody that needs so much help in the Washington State area. Is there a phone number? Is there an email address that people
Yes,
can use to contact you direct?
Yes, there is. And we always answer.
Okay, so
yes,
can you share that with us, please?
yes. It's 206 7188.
And 206 551 2906.
And they can also find us through
Facebook.
Facebook or WhatsApp as well.
Okay, is there any email address that you can share if someone wants to like send you an email message?
Same Centro Comunitario,
CCA
CCA,
at outlook.com.
Outlook.com.
So it's CCA or it's Centro Comunitario CCA?
Centro Comunitario CCA.
Okay, Centro Comunitario CCA
Mhm.
at outlook.com.
Outlook.com. And like I said, that's right now for the, that we have right now for the Hispanic community. They can also write us there, but we're going to create something for the English speaking people as well.
Do you anticipate these people to be Latinos, like other generation of Latinos? Who do you anticipate that you're going to be helping?
In English,
Yes, in English.
probably all kinds of people, because in this state we have Hindus, we have Asians, we most
Someone.
Samoans, and that's one of the benefits of the English speaking, because being in this country, most of the people speak English in a way. So we expect them to be people who are already have the information about what we do, because they have attend other in America there's all kinds of movements, different movements, but the difference is going to be the practical way that we teach and people how to communicate with the inner being and how to solve them problems on this level as well. So I think that's what makes us unique, and mostly because we don't charge any money.
Where do you, both of you, Jose and Melina, where do you see your center going in the future?
That's a nice question. we we always dream to grow, but that at the same time is kind of scary to handle it, because this is our part time. We have our own business, our cleaning business, and I have my job. This is our day off, Mondays. So
And when we have a 6-year-old kid,
who
Thank you.
is wow.
who's like 3 kids.
So of course we see all this kind of need in our community, and we're ready to grow, but at the same time we take it with a lot of responsibility, so we're doing it step by step. But for example, we opened a meditation class last month for 7 sections. We do sections, so every Wednesday we have 30 people sign up, almost women, only two guys,
Only two guys.
only two
Mostly
guys.
women, yeah.
So, and then they start to call, we need a new one, we need a new one. So we're going to open another one in November 7th. And we already have people waiting on sign up. So we're getting busier.
And that's only for the Hispanic community.
So for the Latin community. So we're getting busier. So we're ready to grow.
The idea is to teach our students that have been with us for longer time to do the same thing in order for them to help us as well. So we're teaching one of the students right now. She's doing pretty good. She's walking real straight on this. So we're gonna create more and more instructors. That's the whole idea of this. Because when we opened the first seminar 3 years ago through Univision, when we advertised, we had 170 people register. We had to use two different places, two different cities. And the place that we already have in here, we can only sit like 50 people. And sometimes it gets pretty full, especially when we have activities like Father's Day. Last year, This year.
This year.
This year we have Father's Day celebration, and we use a parking lot out there, and we have over 350 people attending. So everything we do these days, if we tell people where we're going to be, it gets full. So where are we going to be in the future? Oh boy, that's a good question.
So
That's a
you
good
both
question.
work, you have a
Yes.
business, you have a job, you have a kid, and you do this in a volunteer way. How many people would you say that on any given week, how many people do you think that you see or you teach or you help in a week? How many people would you say?
Through yoga and through
Through
the three
classes,
classes that we have in here,
40.
40 or 50 people.
Wow.
Not everybody at once.
Mm-hmm.
Some attend to the yoga classes, other attend to the meditation, and I attend to the public classes as well. We have
Mhm.
3 different levels of teaching.
Wow. Amazing. Well, thank you. I mean, thank you very much. We're going to go now to the questions that we have. So just give me a second so I can go to the list. Okay, so the first question is, what advice can you give to parents raising kids? How to handle our culture within the United States culture?
Oh, that's a great question.
That's a very good question. And I might sound old fashioned, but I'm putting this in practice with my own kid. Don't let kids watch television that are very toxic, that are teaching them things that they're not supposed to learn at their age. Anything you put in a kid's mind is going to believe. Little kids don't know how to perceive fake from reality. And of course, everything we see on television these days is not reality. It's just a toxic way of living or behaving. So one of those things. Another thing, don't give them cell phones, because cell phones or iPads, they connect to the internet. And when they have access to the internet, they can see so many toxic things through their senses. And once these toxic enter the, the mind of the kid, is going to create what is called a psychological eye that is going to cause them fear, violence, fantasies, and all kinds of misery in their lives. Through television these days, we learn very bad things. Even adults don't know how to handle, especially when we see movies about killing, rapes, and traffickers. It stays in our mind for a long time, and we're adults. Supposedly, we already know how to handle that, but it's not true. Television and everything we see today has big influence in our minds. So kids, we should watch really careful to see what our kids are putting in their senses, because it's going to create emotions and toxic thinking. Watch Mindalia television instead.
Yes.
Thank
I
you.
I think one of the keys is don't fight with the both worlds. I think we have to be very smart to blend the best of it. We're lucky to live in a country that gives us a lot of opportunities, and we came from different countries who are very rich in values, in culture, in family support, in union, in love. So we need to be very smart as a parents to blend those kind of best ways and do the best to it. So as much as we start to fight with our kids to no, this gonna they're gonna get it back. We have the opportunity to do the best way of those. So and as a mom, as Jose says, I know it's very hard, but as much as we keep our kids in their natural way, um, in the old fashioned way, it will be better for them. As much as
Their
we can.
conscience, their conscience. They grew up. They were born with this consciousness. They're innocent, and as long as we keep them there for periods of time, that will be better for them. The problem starts when we get out of our hearts. That's the problem. We have to come back to the heart all the time.
Excellent. Thank you. Next question. How can we keep our mind cylinder clean?
Mm.
How can we keep our minds?
The cylinder clean.
Cylinder, the mind cylinder, clean.
Okay, okay. So using this same sample, we live in a world that is already complicated. We need how to transform life. I mean, we that's a reality. So always think that you have to be template. You have to be able to transform impressions as our stomach transforms foods and turns them into vitamins and vital energy. We have to create a mind that has to be able to do the same thing as the stomach does. Well, there's a class, there's a one of the classes that is called that stomach mind. So we need to have to create a stomach mind, transform impressions. When you see things, before the impression comes to react or to be achieved in your system, hold it outside, transform it, learn how to be template, and don't accept that impression, because if the impression comes, it's going to affect you. You should see me when I watch boxing. I watch boxing, but I'm always like relaxed. I'm always trying to control my mind and my emotions, not to be part of the boxers. And at the same time, I enjoy it in a way, but I don't let my mind being agitated by that impression. I just learn how to template, transform the impression. And that's something that we are able to achieve within ourselves. There's people like always saying something negative about other people, then we start being part of the problem. If we can listen to these people and then say, you shouldn't pay attention to those things, don't poison your life having that kind of influence or that kind of toxic emotions. There's a way of learning how to love people, how to care about the people, how to help people change in order for you to be part of the problem as well. So that's a way of learning how to transform an impression. Something that is negative, you can always transform it into something beautiful. As the mud transforms that seed into a beautiful flower, we have the ability to do those things, but we need to learn. People offend us, people do crazy things, people do bad things because they don't know anything else.
Mhm.
That's how they grew. That's what that through their childhood. Maybe they have a toxic parent. Maybe something was going on in their families. Nothing is lost. It's gonna turn that those issues are gonna turn into some kind of experience. We're gonna teach people how to connect to that natural nature that we have within. We have to conquer it. We have to create it. And no matter how bad your life was, you're gonna be able to transform your life. I'm one of those people. I used to be a gang member when I was from 12 years to 22 years. I used to be a gang member. I used to be a troublemaker. When I started going to these seminars, I was only 22 years old. I was in jail in Los Angeles, not for killing people, any of that stuff, just for drinking or not paying my traffic tickets. And when I was in jail, something inside of me always tells me, see, here you are again. If you don't change your life, you're gonna be end up in this again, in this place again. But I needed help. I didn't know where to go.
Okay.
So when I got invited to these seminars, I started working things up, and I was able to change. From 20, when I was 22 years old, I'm 55 right now. And when I after those seminars, 22 years old, I stopped drinking, I stopped smoking, I stopped being violent, I started working my life up. So it's a possibility. Anybody can do that. Anybody has a possibility to change their lives.
Awesome. Well, I really love that last message. It's a great message for everybody that really needs to learn so much and to change so much what the way that they live their life. So I wanted to finish our conversation today saying thank you very much for being with us today. Thank you for doing for everything that you do. This is your home. Come back anytime if you want to explain any other story. We can help you to increase your presence there. just let us know, and we'll help you as much as we can to, to increase your presence and your outreach in the English-speaking community where you live. So thank you very much for everything that you do. And
thank you so much for
Thank you,
giving us
Angel.
thank
the
you very
opportunity.
much. And again, this is Angel Rebo with Mindalia TV. Thank you very much for being with us today, and hope to see you soon. Really, really, really soon. Thank you. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good
Thank you.
Bye,
night.
Jose. Bye.